All right, welcome to Sports Rewind podcast. Today I am joined by Karina Burt. Karina is the owner of PDH Gym at Warners Bay, but also wears many hats, nutritionist, coach, and plenty more. Keen to hear a little bit more about it. How are you today, mate?
I'm great. Thank you. Thanks, Joel. Thanks for having me. Really
Mate,
excited to talk to you about my gym mostly, and of course, everything that kind of led me up to this point, and all about my members and how this all got started.
no problems, mate. Great to have you on. What are your backgrounds in training and what allows you, I guess, to wear so many hats in the gym?
Yeah, so I was corporate in mining for over 10 years as my first full-time job or long-term full-time job. And I was in learning and organisational development. That's where I did quite a fair bit of study around the development of people and also business. And that allowed me to take on a lot of the roles that I play now, owning my own business in a gym. I did my Bachelor of Training Development through that sector of my career. And that taught me a lot about business. It taught me a lot about working with people, also how to, I guess, get buy-in and to find what people are interested in when you're working together and trying to get everyone to, work towards a shared goal. And I take those skills with me now to the business that I'm in. During that stage, though, I always had a really big passion for health and fitness. I played state and rep netball right from a junior all the way through into my teens. And then I continued to play a range of different sports throughout my teenage years and through school. And then coming into an adult, that's where I started to find myself in the gym industry. And that's where I started to learn a little bit more about some of the gym sports or gym competitions and things like that. I was also always passionate about nutrition. So, when we were anywhere and people were reading their magazines or their books or their literature, I was researching nutrition. I was finding all the journal articles. I was learning all about health and well-being, and that was my hobby. And then it just got to the point with my career where I was sitting there every day feeling like this isn't for me. I should be doing something different with my life. And I started to take a plan towards getting more qualifications in the fitness and health industry. So that's where I started to do my certificate in fitness. I've got my CrossFit level 1, really big qualification that I rely a lot upon now, where I learnt the most about what I use today is the AWF Sports Power Coach level 1. I've got my gymnastics and, of course, my certificates in nutrition. I've got business diploma of management, administration, and nutrition psychology. But the biggest and most recent one that I've got now is my certificate in sports nutrition, and that's what I use to practice with the nutrition services in my gym. And then, of course, obviously all the other gym or fitness certifications help me deliver the program that I do in my gym today.
Sounds good, mate. You've been, I guess, studied lots and learned a lot in the lifetime, and that's going to promote, I guess, what you do in the gym a whole lot more. Let's talk about your gym. So you're at Warners Bay. You're in a nice big location there, massive gym. I had the pleasure to come down and do some videos the other week in your gym and met lots of different members. You have a really diverse range of members from I guess, young adults to right through to, let's just say, masters athletes. And
Yep.
how is it with the diversity in the gym? How does that work?
It's one of the things that I've got to say I'm really most proud of, and this comes from, I guess, the whole principles of performance-driven health is that it's a holistic approach to health, and it's about taking that desire to be the best version of yourself, to be healthy, to have that longevity throughout life, but to set some performance goals to help you get there. So that way you've got that motivation to come in every day, because it's really hard to be sitting there and thinking, it's middle of winter, you're cold and you're in bed. And you're like, I don't want to go to the gym today. Oh, that's right. I'm doing this because when I'm 75, 80, 85, 90, I want to be able to still be mobile. that's not motivating, although that's what we want to achieve. So what we want to do is make sure that we've got some other performance goals that are short term, that give you that drive and give you that commitment, so that you do get up on those hard mornings or those tough days or the long days at the end of work. And so the diversity of being able to have someone in my gym, I've got a teenage boy as young as 14, and I've got a lady that's the age of 72. She's in here deadlifting more than half of the rest of my members. And for her, the goal is very different end goal. So she's making sure that she can get on and off the toilet in another 10 years' time, and she doesn't need to go into a home, where the 14-year-old wants to be able to be agile, play sports with his mates, go do fun things. But the performance goals that they have in the gym through each block is similar. So they still want to be able to put 5 kilos on lift day. They still want to be able to cut their 5K run down by 2 minutes, and that drives them, but the end goal might be different.
Yeah. Now, it's really cool to see, because the other week when I come in, there was a workout on the board. It had probably 4 or 5 different options on, whether you want to do, level A right through to advanced level. But then you also had different athletes with injuries, and you had different members that, may not have been at that level. So they were completely, doing another movement that was, I guess, similar. How hard is it as a coach to, I guess, find out what everybody's injuries are or concerns are, and get them to move in this way?
Yeah, I mean, it's probably one of the most important things, because we do have a whole bunch of diverse people coming together with different backgrounds, skill levels, experience, fitness levels. But then you've got the extra, like you said, you've got people with short-term and long-term injuries, or they might have mobility restrictions. And at the end of the day, the goal for each individual person is to get the most value out of the session for them. And that means that we have to be really strategic with what we offer in terms of the programming, so that we do have a generic goal for the day, which is these are the movements that we're going to work on, or these are the skills, with it being functional strength and conditioning. There are over 100, 200 different movements that we could do, all different components. But each person in the gym needs to be able to come knowing that, depending on whether they've got good knees to squat or not, and we've got a leg focused day, that they can still come in and get a good leg session done, even though they may not be able to squat the same way somebody else can squat. So I think it comes down to 2 things. It really comes down to making sure that people are aware that they can speak up and request modifications when there might be something new that pops up, and not be worried about that. A lot of people that I've had a discussion with have always been really surprised when they've said to me, "Oh, I injured myself at soccer on the weekend. I pulled a hamstring or something, so, you won't see me for a couple of weeks." And I'd be like, well, no, that's silly. We can modify you can still do almost all the same movements. We'll just modify it in some way. And for example, we've got a lady that's just come out of a moon boot. She was in it for 6 weeks, and she had multiple fractures in her foot from an activity that she did outside of the gym. And I was one of her first messages, and she was in a panic, and she said, "I've just broken my foot over the weekend. I'm so worried I'm not going to be able to come and train." And all I said to her was, "It wouldn't stop me, and I don't expect it to stop you. We will modify everything as needed so you can keep moving." And she was in here training every day with multiple fractures in her foot, and she still did single leg deadlifts with her foot raised on a box. She still did squats to a box. She did a lot of upper body work and worked on some weaknesses that she was avoiding. The second she came out of the moon boot, she was up there doing pull-ups. There were so many things that she was able to focus on and still stay healthy, still stay fit, and keep moving. So I think the first one is people being aware that they can actually still train through some limitations. It's going to look different for everybody. Having that desire to still come in, even though they're going to need to be patient, because it sometimes can be a bit deflating if if you get to see other people do things that you know under normal circumstances you can do, but because you've got an injury or something short term that you're working through, you need to do something different for a little bit of time. So it's having that patience. And then for us, it's about making sure that the coaching staff are really aware of all the different options that people can do to get a similar stimulus in the same muscle group, just by approaching it in a different way if they need to have that that modification for a restriction or an injury.
Absolutely. Sounds like it is absolutely bucketing down there, mate. I hope you can hear me all right. For having the coaches, I guess, to be on board with this as well, you've got a pretty diverse range with your coaching as well. Do you want to talk about your coaches and how you, I guess, selected those?
Sorry, I just missed that last bit. The rain's a little bit loud on the speaker. Just bear with me a second.
Yeah, no worries. So, so just
Yeah,
talking
sorry, could you say that again?
So just talking about your coaches and coaching, you've got a pretty diverse range of coaches as well to, I guess,
Yes.
maintain your diverse range of athletes. Do you want to talk about them and how you selected those?
Yeah, I'm so proud of the team that we've got here because it's diverse in terms of age, skill, background, and also just personality, which I think is really important. Nobody wants to come to the classes and be coached by the same person over and over and over again. It's good to build that rapport, and you get to learn what to expect from your, let's say, lead coach or head coach, but having other people there with a range of different backgrounds and different perspectives to offer you something outside of the box is really important. So we've got 6 other coaching staff here at the gym at the moment. We've got a couple with a military background. We've got some with yoga. We've got some with sports backgrounds, so people that used to play professional football. And we've also got one of my coaches here, Drew, who's my coach. He was also a powerlifting background. So it's so good to be able to see how these coaches come to the same programming that we're all following each day and put their own spin on it, which is what I really encourage. All my coaches are allowed to do their own warm up and plan that and get people moving and then get the session started and engaged the way they want to. And then we obviously follow the same program each day so that way there's consistency regardless of what coach is on. But the dynamics of it is different depending on who's actually taking that session. And it's so good to be able to see the energy levels change depending on who we've got. Like there might be some more serious, more powerful sessions, and we might have some more upbeat, fun sessions and things like that. And I think having that diversity makes it not just good for people's development, but also just really good for people's enjoyment. And people are going to get sick of me every day. I get sick of me, so I love it when there's other people coaching. It gives me that fresh new take on the session, and I get to hear somebody else's experience.
A couple of big things that I took out when I was at your gym as well is you actually do the program as well with the class. So someone else could coach and you could jump in. That's a really big thing. As a member of the gym, seeing that, all right, this is the coach, this is the owner, and they're doing that program. How important is it for you to be able to do that?
It's probably the most important thing. So I still like to compete. I'm in the Masters division with my age, have been for quite some time now. Nothing wrong with that. Age is no barrier. So for me, this place is basically my way to be able to continue to develop my health, my fitness, and my competitiveness so that I can keep doing the things that I enjoy as well. So when I think about the programming and what I want to take my community through, I'm also looking at it from the approach of if this isn't good enough for me, if this isn't going to make me fitter and stronger and want to come to the gym, then it's not good enough for my members. And the only way that I can prove that to myself and prove that to my members is to do it with them every day, day in, day out. And when it gets to the day where, Thursday comes around and we've had 3 solid days of training and I'm feeling sore or, I'm feeling the effects of what we've done, I can stand up the front of the room and I can say, guys, I've done this with you Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. My shoulders are sore, and this is how we're going to compensate for that today. You know, we might take it back a few kilos. We might, you know, modify things in some way. Or I might say, hey, guys, if you're sore like me, let's go in with a little bit more focus on just our movement pattern today. Back it off a little bit, pick a lighter weight, work on your muscle endurance. You know, there's things that I can talk about because I've felt the effects of the programming that I've designed for my community. And it kind of blows me away that there can be gyms or coaches or programs where they're not following the same thing and expecting to be able to get that rapport with their members and stand up in front of them and say, I will make you stronger and fitter, and I will help you PB your lifts, and I will help you run faster and all, longer and all those things. If I'm doing a different program to achieve that than what I'm giving them to do, it just doesn't seem fair. It doesn't make a lot of sense to me. So that's one of the things that I will wholeheartedly stand behind, that, you know, whatever is good enough for me is good enough for my community. And if I haven't made progress, then I know I need to make some changes so that the community doesn't end up in the same spot as me, and we can all grow and develop together.
For sure. Let's talk about your goals coming forward as an athlete. I know you've got, I think it's states coming up for Masters League, is it?
Yes, that's correct. So Masters HQ, which is CrossFit. I'm in the 35 to 39 division for the RX. And so I qualified first in New South Wales for the online qualifier, which we now have states coming up on the 6th of May. So not far away at all. So I'm in the middle of competition prep at the moment, which basically just means that I'm really focused on being diverse with my skills, because anything could pop up at the events. We don't really know what's going to come at us. So it's really about making sure that I don't have any gaps, any weaknesses, and I'm trying to just maintain and keep my skills at a nice confident level, so that I know when I get there on the day, it doesn't matter what the workouts are, I'm ready to go. It's also about making sure now that I'm really fueling well, recovering well, getting all the right amount of sleep, and really just kind of focused on keeping a nice consistent routine. And then as we get a couple of weeks, just the last couple of weeks out, I can kind of peak my efforts a little bit and then just have a couple of days rest before the event and be hopefully fresh and ready to go.
What would you say your strengths and weaknesses are in CrossFit?
So I'm a really good, rounded athlete, I would say. I don't have a lot of really top strengths. I'm definitely not a strong athlete by any means. I kind of just sit around average with some of the power lifts. I have great muscle endurance. So if you find that sweet spot of a weight for me, I can do that over and over and over again. I can hold on to a barbell or a pull-up for a very, very long time. And I don't fatigue out very quickly. And I've got a really good engine, which generally has come a lot from my background of playing years and years and years of sports. So wherever there's things like on their own, I'm not necessarily that good at them. But when you piece 5 of those together and you kind of got to go for a long period of time, generally that's my jam. Like anything that kind of goes for a long period of time, I really seem to be able to find that really good pace and stick with it. I don't blow out. I don't go out too hard. It's not really my style. I do like the Olympic lifts because I am a little bit quicker. I have really good mobility, so that's great. Gymnastics is pretty solid too. Something that I've got to keep working on, though. I find that it is a skill that you can kind of lose pretty quickly. So I have a lot of respect for those gymnasts. So I understand how they do what they do every day and why they do it. So I'm very well-rounded. I like triplets and putting lots of things together. There's pretty much nothing that I dislike, except for I do get a little bit disheartened when there are heavy strength components, because I'm not a very strong athlete. So I've had to work on that over time to make sure I kind of have damage control in those areas and just do what I'm capable of and not really worry about what everyone else is doing, because at the end of the day, a CrossFit competition, especially something like states, is never based on one event solely. It's always a combination of what could be 4 and sometimes even 5 things over a period of the day. And I know that my time will come to shine, and I can work really hard on the things that I know I'm going to be really good at.
And that's, I guess, the beauty of the sport is could be anything. Never know what it's going to be. And hopefully you get your strengths with, 3 or 4 longer endurance workouts on the day.
Yep.
Let's talk about your nutrition services. So obviously being a gym owner, lots of people want, I guess, advice and help with what they're eating and I guess, what to eat. So what do you offer there?
Okay, so being a registered and an insured nutrition advisor with the Nutrition Council Australia, so I can basically support people without chronic illnesses to improve their nutrition. So if anyone's got a chronic illness or anything like that they need support for, that's where they would seek the support of a dietitian. So I can work with the everyday person, athletes, and so what I do is meal plans, custom meal plans, consultations, just having a chat with people about what they're currently doing, what changes might help them improve their situation towards where they want to be with either their weight management or their activities and things like that, even with work. So for me, the nutrition side is, I understand from obviously my experience with it, is I understand how much of an impact it has on everyone's daily lives, whether you're a sports person or not. If you don't eat healthy or consistent in some way, you feel the effects of that both short term and then obviously long term as well. And it can really change. It can change things like your mood and just your energy levels and how you operate at work and with your kids and being tired at the end of the day, not sleeping right. Nutrition supports a lot of your well-being, and then of course there's that extra component of that also being something that fuels your performance in terms of gym or sport or body competitors wanting to get a specific body composition. So I work with all different types of people. I've got a meal plan subscription for people that just want to have something simple to follow, where they get a range of different calorie options, and they just want to prep and have their calories sorted for what it works within their energy levels. They don't have to think about it. That option's there for them. And then for people that want something more custom or targeted, we do custom plans, or I have a consultation with them. And we work on something more specific, and that might be around their timing of intake. So there could be shift workers who need specific start and finish times for when they have their meals, which work in with changing shifts or when they sleep and when they work, making sure that they're not going to bed on a full stomach, making sure they've got energy while they're actually at work, especially if that's at a different time of the day to when people would normally be awake. So those are big factors. And then of course you've got your athletes that need to make sure that they're fueled before doing their training or competitions, and that they're recovering with nutrition as best they can so they can do that all over again the next day.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, as a gym owner yourself, you would have to have, I know how busy it would be. You've got to have all those meals prepared and ready. It's so easy for people to go out and grab, a takeaway meal or whatever it might be. But having those meals prepared in advance, it's so much easier, I guess, for people to.
It does. It saves a
grab
lot of
meal.
time through the week. It does take a little bit more time up front, obviously, and you've got to have that commitment to investing what might be an hour and a half on your day off to get those meals sorted, but then you'll save yourself hours through the week. But not only that, everyone knows that the cost of living expenses have just gone through the roof. Shopping, buying takeaway food, that kind of stuff. You'd be saving, making your own food and knowing exactly what's in it and knowing that it's right for you and it's actually going to help you achieve your health and well-being goals is one thing. But then also spending only $100 on food instead of $300 on food each week is also a really good motivating factor. And that's probably almost more important in today's state than probably even the first one that I mentioned.
Yeah, for sure. Now, how hard is it for you as a gym owner, I guess, to prioritize your training, your other commitments around nutrition clients and also programming for the gym and stuff like that? How hard is
Yeah,
it for you to stay motivated as well?
I guess two things there. The first thing is because this all exists as a result of the lifestyle behaviors that I believe in myself and I've followed for years and years and years. Um, it comes naturally for me because whether I have the gym or not, whether I had a corporate gym or not, whether a corporate job, sorry, or whether I had no job at all, my day is always going to be prioritized around my health, my fitness, my nutrition, and my well-being, and then everything else comes after that, and I fit that into place. And if I lead by example, then I know that I can encourage others to prioritize themselves too. And it might sound a little bit selfish to start with, but at the end of the day, if you're a healthy person, you've got lots of energy, you feel great about yourself, and you are living a happy and healthy life, then that means you're a good parent, you're a good teacher, you're a good partner, and you actually enjoy life, and you're a good co-worker, and you enjoy going to work because you're a happy, healthy person. And that just makes the rest of your life better. So it's kind of, you got to make sure that you are looking after yourself as a priority. And so for me, I feel really grateful that I've practiced that. And that's just a core value of mine. That's not something that I've really had to force myself to do. It did come naturally, but then it becomes a behavior. After you do it over and over again, you start off with that discipline, and then it just becomes a part of what you do. But then I'm also very, very conscious of making sure that I have a routine set up where I make sure my coaching staff are spread across the week, so I can jump in and do my training each day where I need to, and it doesn't impact the rest of the classes. I'm not trying to coach and train at the same time. I don't ever do that. I get to join the class or I train on my own. I dedicate time to do that. And I just make sure that if I need help, I ask for it. One of the biggest things I find about owning your own business or being in a community environment like this is being vulnerable enough to put your hand up and ask for help when you need it, and know that it's not a sign of weakness. It really is just a matter of saying, hey, I'm trying to work on something for the good of myself and for the good of you guys, and I'm having a hard time right now. If anyone has anything they can do to support me, I want to take that on, because I know that it's not just going to be better for myself, it's going to be better for you guys. And getting through COVID was a really big example of me having to put my hand up and say, hey, I'm having a hard time with the business and my health and things like that. And my friends and my family and my community, they all jumped on board and helped, and it got us through. Like, we are booming now. But if I sat there and I thought, I can't tell anyone that I'm struggling financially, I can't tell anyone that I'm not well, like, people are going to look at me as though I'm weak in some way, I would not have survived, and I wouldn't have what I have today. So I think that's probably the two biggest things is, it does come natural for me to prioritize myself and my health because it's just a core value, but also to, when it came time to, I put my hand up and I asked for help. And if I need to do that again, I'll do it in a heartbeat. And I know that with the community that we've developed, any single person in this gym could do the same thing. And there'd be a ton of people there putting their hand up and saying they wouldn't even need to ask. And that's the thing, like, people they know each other well enough here, and they've built that relationship that they notice if someone's gone for 2 days, oh, where's so-and-so? I'll send them a message, or they ask me, oh, I haven't seen so-and-so for 2 days, where are they? And they've got 5 people sending them a text message saying, missed you at the gym this morning, what's up? And they might be, oh yeah, I went away on holidays, forgot to tell everyone, like, they might be perfectly fine, but then there are others that might be not well, struggling with their mental health, and just that message is enough for them to go, somebody cares about me, I'm going to get myself to the gym tomorrow because I want to see my mates. Yeah,
I love it. Great community, mate. Thanks for joining us. How can people join your community?
So we offer a 2-week free trial. All the information's on our Instagram, which is pdh_gym, and also our website, which you can see scrolling down the bottom. So all fitness levels, ages, skills, experience, genders, whatever you name it, we take everyone on board here. You can start from scratch. You can already have some kind of functional fitness or CrossFit background. 2 weeks. And a lot of people say, well, that's a lot of free period. But for me, I feel like that's enough for you to kind of get an understanding of our culture here and whether that's appropriate for you. There are a million gyms out there. They all have their own vibe and community. They all have different programmings and structures. And I think 2 weeks is a really good time for you to come in and see whether that's right for you, get to know people. And I also think it's long enough that it's quite addictive. They'll get to the end of that 2 weeks and there's no turning back. So I think it's a really good balance of learning and also getting that engagement so they're ready to continue on with us.
Awesome, mate. Appreciate your time.
No worries. Thank you for having me.
Have a good day. See ya.
Bye.